So I've had a lot going on the last few months, and part of all of this for me has just simply been, what does it mean to live full on in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029? The world is, like we're in the flow of it. We're in the transition period between like industrial revolutions. We're in a worldwide shift around like how we contribute and like what it means to be a member of society, so to speak. There is so much creative force happening, and it's evident here in the social world, just to see the different creations and the different ideas and the different artistic expressions that people are putting out. At the same time, there is a question about what is real versus what is artificial. And, everything you see now, you don't really know if a human put that together or a computer put that together. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about when it comes to artificial intelligence is that it collected the ideas, the thoughts, the work, the intellectual studies, the breakthroughs, the awarenesses, the education, right? That we as humans have been collecting and doing and working on and creating for centuries. And that artificial intelligence is now a, super mind, so to speak, of you and me and of every other person on the planet and every other, study and doctorate and dissertation and, author and artist and scholar and professor and student and teacher. And like all of this has coalesced into what artificial intelligence is. And so what I'm saying is that artificial intelligence isn't some separate thing from you and I. Artificial intelligence is an external example, and it is an external expression of you and I, of us as a collective, of us as a humanity. And artificial intelligence is taking what you know and what I know and what we have put out there in the world for it to read, and it spits out what it knows about all of that information. What it doesn't know is where we are going. And you and I don't know exactly where we're going either. But what we do have is a relationship with some divinity that gives us hope, that gives us direction, that gives us clarity, that gives us peace, that gives us purpose. And AI is looking to us to tell it where it should go. It's using us, our ideas, our thoughts, our words, our questions, our dreams, our visions. AI is using you and me and every other person on the planet who has published information for the AI to find, right? It's using us to create the future. We, us, our hearts, our souls, our minds, are here not to let AI tell us where we should go, but to tell AI where we want to go. This is the art of giving and receiving. This is a relationship that we have with technology at large. This is something that is happening, and every single one of us has a part to play. I believe. I actually know. I don't know how I know, but I know that we all have a part to play. And the part that we have to play is to be so self-assured, to be so crystal clear in who we are, in what we're about, in why we're here, and in what it is that we want to see change in the world. And by change, I just mean make better. Some of you listening to this video are here to make the world better. I'm in the process of publishing over on YouTube some videos about my upbringing and about the direction I thought my life was going to go, and how all of that life early on in my young years and in my teenage years and even in my late teen years, how all of my life I have been kind of on this pursuit of affecting change and being someone who affects positive change, not in the name of a religion, not in the name of a specific philosophy, not in the name of a specific narrative at all. I am someone who speaks to meta narratives, who speaks to the source of all of the narratives, right? That there all of these stories, all of these creation stories, origin stories, the fall of man, good and evil, all of these stories are their stories. I love a good story. My house is full of stories. It's full of books, it's full of imagery, it's full of various ways of seeing the world. We explain things through story. And marketing and messaging and business school is going to tell you, if you want to have a powerful product, you need to tell a story, because you need to pull on the heartstrings of humanity. You need to pull on the heartstrings of your ideal client. You need to pull on the heartstrings of your customer who is going to attach to the story. They're going to see themselves in the story, and then they're going to want to be a part of the story in real life, and then they're going to pay to be a part of the story. Stories are beautiful. Stories are awesome. You know, I just told my mom the other day that when I come back to their house, I need to find the Book of Virtues, because I remember reading in the Book of Virtues when I was a kid and having that be part of like our nightly devotionals and things like that. And there were some really awesome stories, and there were some really interesting and neat ways of explaining why we should be good people. But do I need a story for that? Really? Do I need a story for why I should show up to my life and be the best version of me that I possibly can be? Maybe you do. I don't need a story about it. If anything, the story I have about showing up to my life and showing up to the future and showing up to be the best me that I possibly can be on any given day is because that's what feels right. It feels right in my bones. It feels right in my blood. It feels right, like I'm alive by living out my truth, by living out my design, by living out my unique ability as a human on planet Earth. And that unique ability, and leaning into that unique ability, and living out that unique ability, and owning that unique ability, and being self-assured in that unique ability. And I don't even know where this word self-assured has come from, truly, but it just keeps coming up this week. Being fully you is all there ever is to do. And that's not something that happens when you're at work or at home or with your friends or on the phone or traveling or listening to music. This is something that's happening 24/7, 365, forever and ever and ever. Amen. Like, this is you. And there will come a time when our physical life is done and we have been, lights out, like lungs done, blood done. Like, this form will no longer exist. And so there's two things happening right now. One is that I am beginning to create a course and an offering on the bedrock of practices. So no matter what your practice is, it is a invitation to accept that the very bedrock of all of the practices, it doesn't matter if it's a yoga practice, a faith practice, a religious practice, a philosophical practice, if it is some other type of practice, meditation or movement. I mean, there's so many modalities. There's so many different ways to heal. There's so many different things you can explore and things you can do. But the very bedrock of all the practices is that you're going to die. Your spirit will not. Your spirit will continue on into eternity forever and ever. Your spirit will take the lessons it learned and the things it experienced here in this lifetime, and it will integrate, hopefully, some of the things that you learned and experienced in this lifetime into the future. But this lifetime, in this form, as this body, it has a start date and it has an end date. And so I'm inviting you, whenever I open up this course or this webinar or this live stream or whatever it is, I don't even know how it's going to play out, but I'm inviting you to come in and to sit with that, to sit with the yin of nothingness, that there is a place in our life and a time in our life that we will no longer be, not in this form. And yeah, so that's offering number one. And then offering number two is called Waves of Life, a living frequency. Because while we're here, we should do some cool stuff. We should really live every day. You know, recently I taught a workshop for my book club called the 12-week year. And the 12-week year is about basically seeing a 12-week stint, 3-month stint as a whole year. Instead of doing annual business planning, do 12-week business planning. And the idea is that you start to see 1 week as 1 month. And that you know, in a sense, right, that you can get as much done in a week as you would normally get done in a month if you are focused correctly and your priorities are set and clear and all of these things. But that also means that 1 day is like 1 week, and that 1 day matters, and that 1 day, like today, the present moment, there is an invitation to be great. There is an invitation to live fully into the moment. And so the living frequency, Waves of Life, a living frequency, is a series that I feel very tied to in relationship with my good friends and spiritual colleagues. That we are up to inviting people, maybe you, people like you, to step into the fullness of who they are. To live into the fullness of who they are. That there's 3 pillars to what living life full on is really about. And the first is frequency. And the second is vibration. And the third is embodiment. Because there is a certain element of choosing into our own frequency. There's a certain element of doing the inner work and the deep work that causes our vibration to rise, that attracts more goodness, not just goodness for ourselves, but goodness for ourselves and for those around us. And vibration has a lot to do with emotion, and emotion has a lot to do with our attitude, and our attitude has a lot to do with our choice on how to exercise our attitude, how to exercise our spiritual practice, how to exercise our faith. And then when we have went through choosing into a new frequency, choosing into new vibrations and new emotions, then we get to step into and live into what it means to be fully embodied. So Waves of Life is a constant evolution. There's 2 ways to start interacting in this Waves of Life frequency. And one is through coming to an event here in Dallas, Fort Worth. It's just north of Dallas on Friday, September 5th. So a couple hours of your time, setting aside what else is there to do on a Friday night. I mean, sure, you could go dancing, you could go to the club, you can do that the next Friday if you want, but setting Friday the 5th aside to invest in yourself, to invest in your own soul, your spirit, your psyche, yourself, your inner world. That's what we're going to do Friday, September 5th. And then from September 5th, and you could do one of these or both of these, but like from September 5th, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to have a very small group. I mean, only 3 people will be able to do this with us. And it's going to be me, Shelby, and Taylor, all 3 of us working with only 3 people. So for the month of September, for 4 weeks, there's a 4-week immersion opportunity to step into Waves of Life as well. And this is an invitation to you to do some inner work, to do some deep work, to do a little uncovering and discovering, right, of a deeper level of you, maybe even a higher version of you. We grow roots deep so we can grow tall. We grow our roots deep so that when we start expanding out, we are strong. We are in our conviction. We are in our integrity. We are in our truth. And so that's what Waves of Life, a living frequency, is all about. It's a opportunity for you to jump into the flow of life with other people, being supported and encouraged and held and guided in the process of uncovering and discovering what your new frequency is, what your new vibration is, and what your new embodiment is. And this happens on the regular. We're going to be repeating this every month in between seasons, right? We're working with the energy of the cosmos. We're working with the energy of the universe, with the energies that are present in our world today, in our skies today. And we are doing this work, the three of us, for ourselves, and then we're simply inviting other people to come do it with us. And so you're invited. Friday, September 5th, a couple hours of time. You can DM me to book or DM Waves of Life to book. The website will be up soon, I'm sure. And then if you want to do the 4-week immersion with us, you can also DM us. That starts, we'll be meeting on Tuesday evenings throughout the month of September. And then there'll be a high touch container where we'll be working together all month long on these 3 pillars and on stepping into the new, as I call it. So, all right, peace out. I got to go teach yoga, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you.